Hello, I am the Winter Owl, sometimes known as White Owl, sometimes known as Matt. You can call whichever one of those you like. This is Let's Fly Rogue System. This is a pre-early access, in-development build of this game, which is soon coming. This much beloved soon, ever hopeful, slightly vague, but it is coming. You will be able to purchase the very first early access version, and you'll be able to support the development of this thing. It's going to be a good time. Okay, as this is an very early in development version, some of the usual disclaimers apply in that not all of the features of the game are working yet, and of the features that are implemented at the moment, things are subject to change. There's a very good chance that the eventual version that you get will look different in some ways from what I have here. That said, there's already a lot that's working really well in this game. So we take a look at our title screen, and the main menu screen. We have this planet, we have the stars in the background. Yes, this game is about outer space. Rogue System is a fighter pilot in space experience. You're playing as a military pilot. You're serving a colony somewhere out in space. It's not Earth. You're somewhere else, in a not too far distant future setting. I think we're looking at within the next couple of 100 years, that kind of thing. So all the technologies, everything that we're working with, are stuff that may not be working in the world today, but they are plausible. They are realistic according to physics that we understand now. The overall goal for this game is to give the player the kind of experience, the relationship with your spaceship, the same kind of thing that you would get from a lot of these other study sim flight sims. So if you've played some of the classic space fighter games, the Free Space, the X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, and if you ever wished to have more realism and more detail to the actual systems of the spaceship itself, this is your game. On the other hand, if you're a flight sim enthusiast, if you've played Falcon BMS, if you've played DCS Blackhawk, DCS A10, or some of the others coming in the DCS series, and if you enjoy the depth and the complexity of those games, of those sims, but if you ever thought that it might be fun to have that same depth and complexity in a science-fictional outer space setting, this is your game. What I'm going to do, I'm going to work through this tutorial with, I actually turned the tutorial part off. I'm going to start up my spaceship. It's called a Fire Arc. I'm going to get in, I'm going to start it up, I'm going to fly it around, and then I want to come back and dock. So first thing, I'm looking around with Track IR. Track IR is already working. Let me see, this is the interior of our spaceship. The Fire Arc is started off life. It's a light shuttlecraft. These are bench seats all along the side. The Fire Arc is meant to carry passengers and light cargo, in this small planetary system. Let's go ahead and get into the cockpit. Here we go. Whoop. Okay. Yeah, looking around can be slightly awkward in first-person view because you can change the view with the mouse and with Track IR. If you've ever played Arma that way, you know how that works. Okay, let's click that, and that closes up the cockpit, and the seat moves into position. Click on it, enter pilot seat, and stuff gets a lot more comfortable. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, let's make the seat safe. I want to turn off the cabin floodlights, and I want to turn on the instrument lights. I probably want to recenter my Track IR too. That's causing some problems. There we go. Okay, this is starting to look a little bit more familiar. So, first thing before I get started, let's go to our external cameras. We have cameras mounted on the outside of the ship. Here we are in the darkness. We're in the night side of this planet right now. And we also have this external view, so we can see this is my spaceship, and this is a small, it's not even a space station, it's a docking target. It's just in there to give you a place to start whenever you first start up the game. Okay, so first thing I want to do, let's get over here, let's turn on my battery number 1, let's enable our primary bus. Alright, so that's probably, whenever these things initialize, it's going to make some noise. There it is. Hit this button. Acknowledge the fault. Okay. Okay, so yeah, battery number 1 feeds our primary bus. I want to, let's enable our maintenance cutoff. What this is, it's getting electricity from that station that we're docked to. Now that that is feeding into our primary bus, let's enable our battery recharge on battery number 1. Now, okay, that is recharging that battery. Good. That's a fairly stable situation. Let's repeat a lot of the same thing. Let's go to battery number 2, and let's do our secondary bus. Turn that on and enable the battery recharge for battery number 2. Okay, and let me see. We've still got more load than is available. Let's turn this, our electrics control to balance. Okay, and there we go. Yeah, the main bus is not going to have anything on it yet, as that's actually what's the main bus is high voltage, is what we get from our reactor. Okay, now that is working. Let's get this thing set up, and I want to be able to look around. So let's turn on our displays, our viewport monitor system. Yeah, you look around, you notice right now it's really dark, you can't see anything. That's by design. All will become clear. Hey, it's kind of like a pun. It's actually the illusion of becoming clear. All right, hey, now we can look around outside. Yeah, these surrounding the pilot in the cockpit, these are not windows. These are curved up monitors that are fed by the, you know, they get the information from the cameras and sensors mounted on the outside of the ship. So, you know, a glass canopy in a space fighter, that really wouldn't make any sense. You want to move my seat some. Click that. The first mode, that's for your takeoff and landing mode. Now we're moving into just usual flight mode. Okay, cool, that's working. Next thing I want to do, let's come over here, and I want to turn on my communications panel, turn on my transmitter. I want to tell space traffic control I'm here. Space traffic control, I'm going to check in. Control 307264, checking in. They're probably going to come back and talk to me in a little bit. Let me know that they're there. 307264, this is Control. We have you checked in. Over. Alright, that's nice. Space Traffic Control, I am going to request departure clearance. I'm interested in getting out of here. While I'm waiting for them to do that, I think I'm going to light my my fuel cell number 1, fuel cell number 2. Control, departure approved. Notify control before LENR initiation. LENR, L-E-N-R, low energy nuclear reactor. My spaceship, my fire arc, has 2 different systems for generating electricity. The first one is these fuel cells, but I'm actually planning to use the fuel cells simply as a backup system. The primary electrics comes from our low energy nuclear reactor. I'm actually not ready to light that yet. Let's come over here. Temperature management system. Yeah, let's get temperature management working before we light our reactor. It seems like a good idea. All right, so there's temperature management loop 1. We need to pressurize it. And yeah, once that's starting to work a little bit, turn on the pump. Pump rate comes up. Coolant level starts rising. Coolant pressure starts rising. And let me see, let's do the same with number 2. Okay, that looks like that's working. And everything is green on system number 1. Stuff is coming up on system number 2. Make sure that's green. Yes, green. Good. Good. All right, so next thing I want to come over here. This panel is for my main engine, which is for the interplanetary distances, and also for my reactor. So let's turn the whole system on. Low energy nuclear reactor enable and preheat. Yeah, our EM shield is increasing to prevent us from radiating the rest of the vehicle. And so that's working. I'm going to enable preheat, and we'll see our core temperature is already starting to increase. That's good. That is all very, very good. I'm going to try, I think my track IR is giving me problems. Let me try to recenter it. There, will that work? That's not working. Let's try it like this. Much better. Okay. Yeah, that was not a fault in the game. That was a fault in my track IR settings, so we're working on that. Next thing I want to do, let's come over here to my reactant cores. Reactants, otherwise consumables. Let's turn this on and turn enable all. This thing has 4 separate tanks that contain all of the different resources that the coolant, the coolant system and the propulsion systems, that all of those use. All right, now that that is working, see, I'm looking over here at my reactor temperature, still red. It's not ready to light. Let me see. Let's come over to my fuel cells and tell it to select the proper fuel reactant tank with both of these sources. And okay, so that is ready to go. Okay, core temperature still not up. Next thing, let's come over. Let's turn on my maneuvering thrusters. Turn the power on. Tell it to select the correct fuel source. And let's go ahead and just enable this stuff so it'll be ready to go. And nozzles all enable. Good. And core temperature is now orange. It is ready to go. So let's talk to space traffic control. Space traffic control ready for LENR initiation. Okay. Hopefully they'll tell me that I'm ready to go. Control, copy. You are clear to initiate LENR. Notify control when we're ready for departure. Excellent. So let's turn the fuel. Let me see. Oh. First, we select the right reactant tank. Turn the fuel cutoff on and press fusion enable. Core temperature remains green. System, yeah, fusing. Now we come over here to our electrical panel and we see already primary bus with much more electricity available than the load. Same story in secondary bus. Main bus, let's turn it on. Lots of power available, very low load. Yeah, that's all good. And so we'll turn our external power off. We no longer need that. Good. Good. All right. So the next thing I want to do, just to have this system ready to go, let's get up here and let's turn to my navigation screen. And after I get that enabled, now I'll come over here and turn on my navigation panel. Okay. A lot of things on this panel are, this falls into the in development, work in progress thing. You can see our initial starting system. We have 3 planets. We got, and this icon represents my spaceship. I am orbiting the 3rd planet. Eventually, this screen, this system will have lots of means of let me see. I want to show one thing here. Means of helping you navigate around space. Say if you click this, it'll tell you if you're using your maneuvering thruster system, burn and drift mode. Yeah, all this stuff not available. It'll help you figure out how to get there. The system is not quite working yet, but I wanted to look at that screen in order to illustrate some of the future possibilities of where this sim will go. All right, next thing I want to do. Let's talk space traffic control. I am ready for departure. Lots of stuff is turned on. Okay, control 307264, ready to depart. Control will get back to me. 307264, this is control clearance granted. Over. Which, yeah, he's not quite over. I still got a couple things we need to talk about. TMS loop over temp, that's kind of concerning me. Maintenance power disabled. Stand by for departure frequencies. That's what I'm doing, control. I am here. I am standing by. Okay. Turn this to 45-2-3. This is departure. And let me see, in channel number 4, we're going to tune that. Whoop. Yep, got stuff happening. Okay, this one, we're going to turn that to 202. And set that as my localizer, and that is in case I need to come back and dock to that station in a hurry. Just in case. Okay. Control, umbilicals disconnected, stand by for release, which that should happen pretty soon. Oop. Control released. Here, let's get to this external camera. Yep, there we are. We are undocked. And we're coming loose. Use dock limiting. That means the very low thrust, low power version. So I am thrusting backward with my RCS system, reaction control system. It's just operating in a very low power, just cold gas mode at the moment. Okay, and there we are. You can see our range to that thing. That number is going to increase, or the range over here. Okay, so you can look at some of the things in the icon over here. It gives you this range, it gives you this apoapsis, periapsis. Again, and over here on my screen, yeah, here's altitude above the planet, apoapsis, periapsis, orbital velocity, zenith angle. This game is going to have a true orbital motion, orbital mechanics. I actually need to increase my speed backwards here a little bit. I'm backing away faster. All right, now that I'm clear of them, next thing I want to do is we want to extend my radiators. So let's turn this to radiator system number 1 and deploy. I want to look at it. Yep, there it is. Okay, once it's deployed, I want to enable it. Radiator number 2, deploy that. You can hear it in a second. There it is. Enable that, and also turn on this laser cooling system. It's kind of science-fictional temperature management system, which is theoretically possible, but frankly, I don't understand how it works. I'll trust that some people smarter than I am figured out how that works. All right, let's see. I want to turn that to navigation just because I like looking at the orbits. Makes me feel like I'm in space. Okay, so yeah, we're 180 meters away. Once we're 200 away, then we'll get clearance to light our main engine. Right? Okay. 307264. This is Control. You are beyond limiter range, free to navigate. Have a good flight. Thank you, Control. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's come over here. And we'll turn on our superconductor. The superconductor turns on this, a non-physical and electromagnetic shield, which we'll use to contain some of the plasma from the reaction for our main propulsion system. It's going to be a project just learning all of the proper terminology for all this stuff. I want to wait till it turns green. Turn green, please. Turn green. It's almost there. Okay, we'll turn on our helicon coupler. I don't know what that does. I'll turn on my ICH cyclotron enable, the tooltip says. Again, I don't know what that does. I just know I need it for the engine to work. And press this and hold it. Plasma temp increases. Alright, we got some cool sound effects, and now, finally, our whole spaceship is alive. I'm kind of concerned about this temperature management system loop over temp. Did I not? Coolant temperature on loop number 2 is in the red, and on number 1. Wait a second. Did I not turn on laser cooling in? I thought I did. Yeah, pump is running on both of them. Can we do star... External list verified, double check. I see 2 radiators that are deployed. Okay. Well, I don't think that there's anything I can do about that right now. I'll keep an eye on it and hope that it is it gradually decreasing? Hopefully. Did I miss pressurize it? No, coolant. Yeah, everything else is green. I'm just not certain why that is red. Other things that are these other warnings. FCS, my fuel cell system reactant flow rate. That's like, well, I'm not actually using my fuel cells. I just turned them on to warm them up in case I needed to shut the reactor down. My viewport monitor system fault. Again, I think this has to do with the in development nature of the game. There's some other system that's not working. As far as I can tell, those things are always on. Okay, what I started to talk about just a minute ago with the orbital stuff. There have been a lot of other space combat games that have advertised themselves of having the Newtonian motion, and they're partially correct in saying that they have that. Got a little bit of a sun flare thing happening there. They're partially correct in thrusting forward. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Hang on, see, you go and start missing stuff. turn the booster enable on. There we go. Now we should be able to thrust away. Just take a look at the apoapsis and periapsis. If I point this direction, hear the engines start working. All right, yeah, so that apoapsis climbs in a hurry. That orbital velocity, that increases in a hurry. Yeah, so you put this thing in a little bit of a roll, give it a little bit of rotation, it just keeps on moving. So this is what other projects in the past have called the Newtonian motion. And they're partially correct. If you really want full Newtonian motion, what needs to happen is you need to have the orbits. In outer space, nothing ever travels in a perfectly straight line. Everything orbits. So that docking target, that small station that I started out attached to, that is orbiting. My spaceship is also orbiting. And so, yeah, transfers between different planets and between other spacecraft in here will be a little bit more complicated than just pointing straight at them. I mean, our science-fictional propulsion systems mean that it does simplify things. If you can do a multi-G burn over several hours, it really does simplify interplanetary travel, and so it's not like think it's going to take months and years to get places. Okay, so here we are, maneuvering around. The combat is not actually working in game yet, but other things are. The maneuvering does. You know what thing I want to do? This is a system that was just added into here just to help us maneuver. Let's turn on autopilot allow. Let's turn on yaw hold, pitch hold, roll hold. Good. Okay, so I'm still missing the icons that'll tell me what direction I'm pointed, but I can use this as a kill rotation system, so you won't be wandering around in space quite so much. I need to keep my eyes on. I think I already lost it. I think I already lost my docking target. Should be. I don't think I got off the inclination. Here we go. I did lose it. Is it? Am I? Alright, well, I'll tell you what. Let's... I don't want to get too far away from it. But while speaking about the orbits and the how easy it is to lose your place in orbits, yeah, we will get there's going to be more information that is available to you in order to find these things. Oh, wait a second! Hang on! We're starting to get some light here too. Let's turn it this way. Where was I? All right, hang on. I want to get moving closer back towards it. So we're going to point generally at it, and we'll fine-tune our approach that way. Just do this until our range to it is decreasing again. TTS, okay. Okay. Now, yeah, all right. I was on the verge of panicking a little bit. I really don't understand. I think we've got some kind of fault happening in my temperature management system. I probably did something wrong, and I hope my spaceship is not going to overheat before we can take care of this issue that I have. Alright, so the next thing I want to do, let's go ahead and I want to, let me see, we're going to transmit in an open channel. Like the space traffic control who I was talking to before, that was a departure. We don't want to talk to them anymore. Let's announce myself to these new guys. And at the same time, I want to slow down my approach to this. Well, maybe not. We're already slowing. 307264, control. Alright, copy you. Good. Alright, let's talk to them some more. Transmit open channel. I want to talk to local space traffic control. I am on approach to the station over here. Okay, while we're doing that, they're probably gonna, I'll set this up because I'm gonna want to change some of these numbers. Contact space traffic approach on 452-2. Alright, click this one over here. 452-2 and set. Good. All right. Okay, yeah, we're still gradually closing distance with this one. Let's point over here a little bit. Good, good, good. Okay, so this time I'll transmit on private channel, now that I got the right number, tuned to 452.2, spaced traffic control, checking in with approach. Thank you. (307-264). This space traffic approach, we have you checked in. Excellent. All right, now I'm going to tell them that I'm checked in. I want to tell them that I want to dock. Space traffic control, request docking, please. And they'll give me a frequency for to turn my transponder for this docking port. Clearance granted. Thank you. All right, can give me change that. Give me a frequency. Turn it to 452-200. Okay. Set that and set as localizer. Come over here to my external access and docking ports. Port number 2 is my dorsal docking port that I started off with. Okay, we'll do that, and now come over to displays, and I want to enable external docking mode. On the display, we get this information-rich display. Isn't that nice? Here, let's hit that. Okay. And here, let's line up with something like this. Good. And we're still closing. Okay, and obviously I need to thrust downward. I want to leave my ship pretty much pointed stationary. And I don't want to chase pointing at the station too much, but I want to use my lateral and vertical thrusters to try to kill its relative motion in the screen. Oop, a little bit too much, but that's okay. Good, and still approaching. How are my temperatures doing? You know, the coolant temperature, it isn't as red as it was before, but the flickering, yeah, there's some kind of fault. Control, I am slightly concerned that maybe I broke something in my spaceship without really understanding exactly what. So, yeah, let's see if we can get this whole docking business done. Let's actually accelerate a little. They're closer, faster. Okay. And yeah, some of this has come from this kind of situation will be immediately familiar to anybody who's ever spent any time playing Orbiter, or much more likely you've spent some time playing Kerbal Space Program. This whole display itself and the way it works is definitely based on Orbiter. I know that in the eventual development of the game, you're going to spend more time docking inside these larger space stations. Hey, there's a sunrise. How about that? You gotta like the sunrise. Yeah, but the larger stuff, that's coming later. Yeah. So the way this is going to work as we're gradually approaching our docking target. The way this is going to work with the game, the first early access version will have something similar to what I'm playing. Again, subject to change. You know, you'll be able to fly your spaceship around. The various systems on the spaceship will be working, and then the plan is they're going to, they'll sell the early access version in people who are interested in supporting the development of this project, and they'll use they'll take the money from that and use that to fund further development. The actual the release version of the game, which they'll be working towards, will be a kind of a campaign-based thing where you're flying as the military pilot. Somebody's going to come in and attack your home colony, and there'll be a series of missions involving the fight with these people that are coming to attack your colony. The mission, it is envisioned as being a mix of a pre-scripted campaign as with also some dynamic elements. So, you know, various actions that you... I mean, the overall story arc will be pre-scripted, but you, the character, will definitely have the ability to influence the outcome. Okay, once we're within a kilometer, I want to slow down. I've turned my thrust reverser on, so I'm thrusting backwards. Oop, a little bit too much. Alright, let's actually just thrust forward with my thrusters like this. Yeah, you can see that changing slowly. Good, that's changing. Thrust downward some, thrust to the left some. Once we get closer, I'll start rotating my ship around to the correct orientation. Good. This is working. Okay, how's the temperature doing? Yeah, it's still freaking out, man. Alright, it's okay. We can deal with it. Wow, I kind of... before we get too much closer, we'll have to close... Before we dock, we'll have to close the radiator, so I want to leave that to the last. But what I am going to do right now is shut down my main engine, as I don't want to be spraying these super hot reactants everywhere. So let's turn that off. See plasma temperature decreasing. Whenever that gets down to nothing, then we'll turn our superconductor off. Yep, turn that off. Yeah, okay, it starts yelling at me. Yeah, fault acknowledge. Okay, need to thrust upward some so we don't get too far away from that. Sorry, that's right. Now I need to turn this back to RCS only. There we go. Okay, so now I'm thrusting upwards using just RCS. Probably need to also thrust backwards some in order to slow down our approach. We are coming in kind of hot. Is it working? Come on, guys. Did I make a mistake over here? We are in here, the cold gas override, right? Okay, I think that... Oh, now I hear... Yeah, I was making a mistake. Yep, okay, I'm still learning how to handle this thing. Good, okay, so we've slowed down, and now let's match it that direction. Let's thrust to the right some. Good. Thrust to the right some more. Good. Okay, and let me see, so what I'm... the docking target they've assigned to me is this one on the upper left. So I believe at this point, let's just roll 180 degrees. I think I actually want to turn off our roll hold. There we go. For now. Okay, this is working. Okay, yeah, most of the time you'll be docking inside of these large space stations, but you will have to know how to do this in the final release of the game. Yeah, the design goal is that you know, a lot of this stuff is going to become more automated. You'll have your ship's computer available. All right, turn my roll hold back on. Help me with this. Good. Okay, trying to talk and do other things at the same time. Thrust upward some. Kill that relative motion that way. Now let's fix our roll. Try to zero that out. Zero to out one axis at a time. Thank you. Okay, following the release, so yeah, the whole campaign version, where you know, flying through the entire you know, a war with the people attacking your colony, that will be for the initial. That's planned for the release. After release, then the plan is that we'll. Oops, I'm yawing the wrong direction. Let me fix this. I've learned to like try to fix one axis at a time. Yeah, following release, they'll continue development with some of these others. I already shut down my MTS core, thank you. Cease closure. One thing that's planned is what he's calling the Maverick Module. The Maverick Module is a developer, that's his name for a much more open-ended, a trading, exploration, and combat sim along the lines of, say, the original Elite, of a very open-ended thing. It's not pre-scripted. It's not necessarily even combat, you know? Could just be a trader or whatever. Alright, so let's slow down my approach again. Let's thrust upwards. Thrust to the left. Okay. Yep, this is all working. Thrust to the right. Let's kill it in this direction. Also need to adjust that pitch. Oop, overshot some. Yep. Okay. About like that. That is working. Good. Yeah, so a lot of those Kerbal Space Program lessons become useful here. Yeah, line it up like that. And thrust downward a little bit. Good. Okay. I don't feel the need. Let me see, we're within 200 meters at this point. I really do need to stow these radiators. Alright. Yep, radiators are stowed. So I hope we don't overheat before we actually dock this beast. Okay. So yeah, the Maverick module, that is one thing that I am very much looking forward to. I'm certain that the campaign itself will be a lot of fun. Be a lot of repeat gameplay there. You know, having a space combat in a theoretically realistic setting. You know, too many space combat games have done the thing where it's like a World War II fighters in space. This one this game is committed to having stuff that's actually plausible. You can't. I won't say realistic, since we're dealing with technologies that have not been invented yet, really, but it is plausible. Every bit of this is using physics that we understand today, and that, you know, with several decades of development and experimentation, technologies that could theoretically be made to work in a space fighter. So that's pretty cool. Let's move this. Word about modability. The developer is very committed to having the entire game be very, very moddable. He's made statements like it should be possible to use the framework of Rogue System and you can add your own spacecraft, you can add your own interiors. You know, I have ideas for like my own cockpit that I'd like to see in the game. That should definitely be possible. He's said things that it should be possible to build your own space sim within the framework of this game. So if you want to do say Colonial Vipers and Cylons, sure, you can do that. And personally, I'm two things that I would that I would really like to see, guys, talented modders. I want my Firefly and I want my Millennium Falcon. Not necessarily in that order. I want both of these things. Okay, yeah, I got a lot of the audio work is made to help you understand your relation to all these things. The tones tell you how close you are in the various axes. Okay, let's slow it down. Our approach. I think we actually do need to bump downwards slightly. Okay, and I can no longer see the docking target, so we're just on instruments now. Which makes it especially exciting. I do need to jet downwards a little bit. Good. Slow it down some more like this. Jet upwards. Now we're approaching too fast. Jet downwards just to slow down that approach. And the closer you get, the more detailed, the more sensitive and more detailed the display gets. Okay, so yeah, we've got a good closing speed. There's one thing that Kerbal Space Program players will have to get used to is that the docking tolerances are a lot tighter, and that you have to be aligned within just less than a degree. You have a and oops, hang on, and you can be no more than just a couple of centimeters off of the docking target, with a closing speed of only a few centimeters per second. If I felt like gloating, I would say that whenever I was trying to prepare for making this video, I did successfully learn how to do this in the version of the game when we did not have the roll, yaw, and pitch holds, where the thing was free to move in all these axes. But I don't know, maybe that would be gloating, so I won't. Okay. Almost there. Almost there. Just making small control moves, small corrections. Hey! I believe we are docked. Control reading solid contact. Standby 1. Excellent. Connection locked and stable. Engaging umbilical. That's very nice. Okay. Temperature management system still freaking out? Yes, it is. Cleared for shutdown or contact STC for service. Let's turn this on so we can get more electricity and stuff. Okay. Cool. Alright, so this is... I believe we've demonstrated the things that I wanted it to demonstrate in this video. That, yeah, the ship works. The sim works. The ship works. Obviously, there are systems that have yet to be added into this game, but if they're done with the same level of detail as what is already working, then it will be a very, very good time. This is the only space comic game that I personally am interested in even looking at. I'm aware there are others out there. This is the one I'm following. This is the one I want to support, and it needs support. This early access version is going to go for sale sometime soon. I don't know when, but I don't know when, but soon, and people need to buy it in order to fund the further development of it, so we can have an actual space sim, the potential to tell your stories in the science fiction universe. Do your epic space opera stuff in a game world, in a sim, where with an actual interactive cockpit with the systems, subsystems, backup systems, and everything in the whole world makes sense according to physical laws. I'm not aware of any other project that's doing anything even remotely close to this. But yeah, this is it. If you're a sim enthusiast and you're a space enthusiast, this is the best option around. So yeah, many thanks to the developer for allowing me access to this pre-early access version. And I thank people for watching and listening. I hope you will support Rogue System because it needs you. And I'll talk to everybody later. Goodbye.